So we're getting down to that time of year where we're starting to put our containers of plants back into our greenhouses. There's a few things we want to talk about when it comes to using containers in the greenhouse. Number one, the container plants are normally going to need at least 5 hours of full sun. So we don't want to put them in too soon. Usually March is a pretty good time, as long as they're going to get the 5 hours of sun. Now tomatoes and spinaches may need a little bit more. So you want to make sure we put them in a spot in the greenhouse that's going to get the sun, and we don't start them or put them out into the greenhouse until we're getting that much sun each day. Now, unless the plant requires shade, we want to use narrow tiers so that we can kind of set the plants back so they're each able to get sun. Early in the year the sun's coming in, yay, we want to have the plants kind of stacked up. Kind of, you go to the movie theater, you want to be able to see, the seats are at an incline, and you don't want some basketball player sitting right in front of you because you can't see the screen. So it's the same thing with your plants. We put the smaller plants in front and tier them with the bigger ones in the back. Don't crowd them. It's really easy to put your plants close together, and the problem with that is they don't get sun and they don't get ventilation, and you need a little bit of ventilation. It helps keep the pest off, and it also makes the plants a little bit stronger, helps them build their strength early in the season. So use a small fan. Now we don't need a hurricane force winds on them, just a small fan blowing, just a circulation fan. Before we plant in containers, be sure your containers are safe. If you're using plastic containers, say you're using big buckets to grow your tomatoes, or you're using barrels cut down, make sure there was nothing unsafe in those containers. If you've had a chemical in there in the past and you haven't done a good job of cleaning it out, you're going to either kill your plant or harm yourself. You don't want to be growing plants in what used to be chemicals. That's going to end up in the food that you end up eating. Same thing with wood. Be careful if you're using barrels or you're building a planter that you're going to put in your greenhouse, that you don't use anything that's been treated. For example, creosote. Anything with creosote, a lot of people, myself included, tend to get a reaction to creosote. Nothing like having a nice itchy, burny rash, and your plants aren't going to like it either. So be sure whatever you're putting your plants in, those containers, are safe for your plants.